How I flipped my 1K account into 15,000 in just 7 days, and how you can replicate the same system in order to start flipping your accounts. Let's go, friends. So, thank you for tuning in to this new YouTube video, friends. I've done this flipping journey already so often. I've showcased it multiple times on social media and also over here on YouTube. And now it's time for a new video. I'm gonna give you right now today my system on how I was able to do so. But will this always work? Of course not. Do we use risk management? Of course. And this is gonna be the secret, the risk management plan behind it, and you will understand very fast that this is something you already know if you are from the Propfirm space. Let's go, guys. So what you gotta understand is the risk that you have to put in. For me, in this case, and also to showcase you quickly the profits and everything, I started with a 1,000 euro account. I'm using here IC Markets, so check out the link in bio to get one of the best brokers out there where you have really tight spreads, because otherwise it's gonna be really hard for you to also be able to flip if you have big spreads and a lot of commissions. But what is more important than that is actually that you have a reliable broker, of course, and this is the one that I use. So my plan was actually to start flipping this to as high as it gets. Right now I'm at 15,000 and I'm right now gonna also withdraw 5,000. The reason for that is because this is usually the profit that I also go with prop firms. So more than that is not really what I need for now, right? At least I wanna get the present for it, right? Because if I've done the hard job over here, I also want to get the reward. So of course I'm gonna right now withdraw that. Most of the traders out there are not doing it. The reason for that is actually because it's probably not a real account, right? This is something which you don't see so often. People are really trading and so on and really showcasing this kind of thing. But I also gotta understand, you gotta understand that on this flipping journey, I really had 100% win rate. Like the last couple of days, so I started this journey on a Monday last week. That was here the date of, let me just check it before I'm saying something wrong. When I really start with this 1K, it was on the 25th of November, and now till the 3rd of December, it got flipped. And that is 5 trading days last week and 2 trading days this week. And so fast it can go, right? But let me tell you more behind everything. Here you can see that I also failed in the past with this account. So I just actually used here an existing account that I have. So this is why you see right here a little bit less profit, because I've been actually withdrawing everything and then I just started to trade with this account from scratch with this challenge, right? Because this is the IC markets that I use usually, and then I just wanted to start with this flipping journey just to showcase how easy it is also possible to do this, and that flipping does not always mean crazy risk and stuff like this. You will understand more about that right now when I'm gonna go over the entire risk management plan, and you will then see something very interesting. So I flipped this thing from 1K into 15K at the end, right? The reason why on TradeZella you see a little bit less here in this case is because I've been trading that account at the first day already with more deposit on it, and I've lost at that day. That was for me a losing day, and then I just started from that day on, and it was a good setup, and I started already to flip it on the first day. But this is why you see here being a little bit negative. All right, so let me now guide you through the risk management. The idea was not from the start to risk 100% on a trading account, even though even that would be easy possible to do, and it would be still good risk management. Now you would say, why is it okay to risk 100% on my account? The reason is because what people forget about trading very often is money management. Everyone just talks about risk management. So if someone says, all right, I'm risking right now 1 or 2%, everyone says it's fine. When someone says I'm risking 100%, everyone says it's too high, the risk and everything. But is it? No. It really depends on how much money you have in total, right? How much money you're using in general for trading, how you are diversifying your portfolio in general. So let me just give you a quick example, because now you will also understand the system of Propfirms a little bit better. So let's say 100K, right? You're using right now 100K. It doesn't matter if you're using right now, in this case, 100K real account, or you're using, in this case, a funded account. What you got to understand, and what I'm trying to tell you right now here with this example, is actually, if you now trade with 100K and your risk that you want to take for this is at 1%, it means you're risking 1,000. So let me just put this a little bit like this, make it a little bit bigger. So on a 100K account, you want to risk 1%, which is equal to a 1,000. Great. So it means, in worst case, when you're going to lose, right, this 1%, you will have only a balance left of 99,000. So you're losing a total of 1,000. Great. And if you win, depending on your risk reward, right, you're going to make more out of it. So let's say you have a 1 to 2 risk reward system. Right, I use by myself a 1 to 2 risk reward system, maximum 1 to 3. If you're using this and you now make profit, you will actually gain a 2%. So if profit, it means you're gonna make 2,000 euro in this case. So you will make a 2% in profit with the account, right? So I'm marking this red so you understand that it's a loss. I'm gonna mark this right now as green if it makes profit. Great. And now I'm gonna change a little bit your perspective to the things. If you now come, and this is simple mathematics, like, I don't know if you learned it, but if you now assume that you're trading right now with a 1,000 euro account, like I did in this case, and I'm risking 100% from this account, and I go with a 1 to 2 risk reward, I come to the same result, right? If I'm gonna win or if I'm gonna lose, it's gonna be the same. So either I'm gonna lose the entire 1,000 or I'm gonna win the 1 to 2 risk reward and I'm gonna gain 2% profit on it, right? Depending on the risk reward. And this is the interesting thing of the system that I used, because at the end, right, it's all about perspective. It's all about how you put it into place. It's all about what money you have to risk for the setup. So in this case, this is exactly what I did. I risked the 1,000 to make to make 2%, to flip my account, right? To make 2%. But in this case, it's gonna be also double, right? Because I'm using 200%. In worst case, I'm losing the entire, right? And it depends, right? I'm not gonna go always for 1 to 2 or whatever. This is right now just for you what you gotta understand, because the Propfirm system itself is nothing else than that. Because now in a 100K account, what you usually have is a 5% daily drawdown restriction. And you got a minus 10% overall drawdown. So now that means in reality, your entire trading capital that you can access, that you can actually really lose, even though it's demo, is going to be 10K, right? Because 10%, it's 10K. So they want you normally to also make 10% in profit in order to get it done. So what they want you to do in reality is to use the availability and liquidity that you get from them to double it, right? To make a gain on it. Like you should now flip it in reality. So it's all a perspective game the entire time with trading, right? So flipping an account is now nothing too crazy anymore if you finally get this kind of thing. This is what I understood, because with funded accounts, you have one big advantage, right? You pass the challenge and so on, and you gotta put a down payment for it, right? Like, I don't know, between 500 and 1,000 depending on the account size, but normally for 100K, you gotta pay $500 around like this normally. And if you pass it and then you receive your first payout, then you can get it back, right? You get a refund for that plus your payout. And then at the end, you're gonna from there on be risk-free with the account, which is a very good thing. But in order for you to be able to reach till that level, you have to first flip your account if you have a 10% account, then make half of it one more time in order to pass phase 2, and ideally you do again a 5% profit in order to really get some payout. At the end, you have to flip your account 2 times in order to get one payout and the refund for it. Now, how easy is that? It's not that easy, just to tell you up front. So when I realized this kind of thing, I understood, hey, I can actually be funded already on the first day when I use only limited account capital, like in this case. Instead of losing potentially 100K, because that's what I deposit, and then I get super emotional or whatsoever, and then I will lose more, 5%, 6% at the end, and I will lose 6K. And worst case, I will only lose the 1,000 euro that I deposited. And in the best case, if I stick to my trading plan and the trading plan is profitable and I have a trading edge and I know how to execute all these things, you get it, right? It requires that you are a profitable trader. Then I will make a 1 or 2,000 euro in profit on top of that. So this literally makes a lot of sense, right? It really depends on how much you want to risk and so on. And I was not the entire time flipping it or making double of the risk that I put on or something like that. No, of course not. I also closed earlier on all these things, and yeah, because market conditions are not always the same. But in order for you to pass the accounts from a Propfirm challenge, it requires at the end the same skill set. So why not putting it into a real account where you have at the end already the availability to make money from the first day? And this is something which changed a lot in my mind, and since then I'm not so big in Propfirms anymore. Still, it's a fine thing and a good thing because you are at the end the entire time risk-free, right? In worst case, after you have your first payout, and you gotta of course be able to do so, you will then actually at the end will never lose any real money anymore. But of course you have other risks that the Propfirm is banning you, or they have some silly rules in order to deny your payouts or whatsoever. But what I really got me thinking is that if I am able to pass a challenge, right? If I would do this entire thing, the same risk management applied to a real capital, and I can right now, it's not necessary for me to use 1,000 euro. I can use $100, then risk the entire time 100% of that, and after a couple of trades, and I'm gonna flip it and I'm gonna pass it. I will make more money with that probably than with a funded account at the end. It's just what I realized, and it's also a different perspective for you guys for your risk management. If you have problems with risk management, many people on personal accounts, they're just blowing their accounts. What you could just try is the same system. Like if you just want to lose, for instance, $100, right? Use an account with higher leverage, of course, right? And then risk the entire $100 for that one setup. And then you are gonna like blow your account the entire time. But that's not a problem, because if you have 10,000 in the bank and you want to use that for trading, but you have a problem with risk management, then just deposit that $100. Try to flip that, or just try to use the normal risk management for 1 to 2, 1 to 3, because that's what you're doing the entire time with your risk. You're flipping your risk the entire time in trading, right? So why not doing that with the entire account, right? And if it's successful, right? If you've been successful once or twice or 3 times, it's gonna be good for you, because you then decide anytime, all right, do I take out some money out of it, or do I keep trading? You don't necessarily have to increase the risk. I haven't done that, to be honest. For me, like in the last stage, after I've been at around 8,000 in profit with this account, I've been risking around 1,000 to 2,000 per trading setup in order to make exactly the same amount. So I was even reduced to a 1-to-1 risk reward at the end, which was fine for me because I just maximized my win rate for my strategy by focusing on A plus setup, and I reduced the potential movement in order to make that money. And it worked. And I also used the entire time my fixed lot size, have my setup planned for my strategy. I used almost the entire time at the beginning a one lot, and I went for around 1,000 in profit, between 800 and 1,000. That's what I've done on average. And then I increased everything after the 8,000 when I reached that, when I flipped it already 8 times. And then from there on, only with 2-3 trades, I then came across 15,000. Now I'm withdrawing 5K, rewarding myself, and now I'm gonna actually, again, decide what I'm gonna do. Do I want to keep on trading? Do I wanna withdraw everything? It doesn't matter at the end, right? Like, it's all money management, it's all risk management the entire time. Once you have this skill set and this craft better, you will play with everything. It's just numbers, all right? Now I just wanna share with you the last trade that was taken, which was this one here. You can also see beautiful proof that it was taken here in this case, also on TraderWeight. You can see here this thing here. So this was a funded account on Apex. They took here from here the long till here. It was the same setup that I took also on this account. You see the screenshot over here right now. And this was like the last trade where I was able to flip everything till the 15K. So on this day right now where I'm recording, I made almost 3,000 in profit. And yesterday, I made even more. So in total of 6,000 the last 2 days. And I've been buying the entire time. So let me just show you right now, like this setup. I entered right over here. The analysis was quite easy and simple, just for you to understand. I've seen the higher time frame being bullish, right? I mean, you can clearly see all of these things. It's super bullish. And that's exactly what I wanted to see price following, right? So for me, this was like the bullish market structure in this case. I've seen price coming here to sweep some form of liquidity. And after it did that here, as you can see, it broke structure. And this is exactly my entry confirmation at the end. Here, I just seen this break of structure, see exactly at that candle. I did took the long, it was also on this account. And then you see it pumping up higher, and I was here in good profit, and my TP would have been between this area and this. I was not 100% sure where I'm gonna put it because we've seen here a couple of levels like this one, right? And also here, I wanted to close a little bit earlier. And because of these things, I wanted then actually to be flexible with the TP and to close it manually. And that's exactly what I did at the end. But something happened. Price actually started to reaccumulate a lot, chilled a little bit, and then came below my entry area. And I was close to close this trade because I thought it's gonna get invalid, but still it was inside of this bullish leg, and I was like, okay, as long as we're gonna remain above it, I'm not gonna close, right? And it was a very good decision for me because at the end, what I would have been doing in this case, if I would have been closing it, I would just re-enter the position anyway, exactly at this BOS over here. And as you can see, that would have been the same price as prior. So this is also why I just hold it a little bit longer. In this case, I also was a little bit in a bigger drawdown also on this account. Like on the flipping account, I was around 2,000 in drawdown. So I've been at 13,000 in profit, something like this, or 12,300, yeah. And then I was 2,000 in drawdown, so almost back at 10K. And in worst case, I would have been closing if the price would have been coming till this area here. And luckily it reversed. It followed the trading plan, my trading edge that I planned for that day. Boom, till this high, closed here everything manually, went a little bit higher. This was my final target, and from there price just reversed like crazy and came all the way down till this, because now this gets liquidity. As you can see, it's reacting based on that. Now we might see from here another push. Then another trade that was taken as well was here. This was at this day. You see here, this is Asia. I like to use Asia as a form of liquidity. You see how price used Asia liquidity, liquidated, and then from here it went all the way to the upside. And what I liked about this setup was that it grabbed here some liquidity, broke structure over here, and then I entered into this long. Here again, it manipulated below us, right? Unfortunately, stop loss was lower, and like luckily to me, and that's exactly how I plan it, because I know that the market can do things like this. These are just a type of inducement you gotta avoid, otherwise it's gonna like really be a lot of pain for you. You have to understand why you have to protect with your stop loss and not just your M1 break of structure like most SMC traders would do. This is a very big problem that most have. And then from here, price just kept on moving higher and higher, and I scaled in later on as well into a new trade, and that was everything shared with my inner circle. So every setup that I just showed you right now, plus the setup which was the last long, which was taken the moment when price, again, as you can see here, took this liquidity, right? Another form of inducement. Here I entered right at this low, and I was expecting price to run something at the top like this, and I closed it at the end. All my trades here, I will share you all the screenshots over here, and you will see how I took those trades and how I flipped it and with the results and everything. And that was also shared with my inner circle as always. I always share everything as a video analysis. I also go live on Discord to explain them sometimes certain things live or after it happened and so on, so that you have the entire time the highest education that you can get. Plus I always share with you specifically what I'm looking for. Like in this case, I pinpointed this POI. All you gotta wait for is just for price to shift after the POIs that I mentioned to you guys, and you will learn all of these things in our step-by-step course, and you will also get access to a very wonderful Discord community. All right, so guys, I hope you like and understand the system, because many people believe that this kind of flipping things is a form of gambling, but it's not. It's all a perspective with money management, risk. And at the end, if you understand that trading is just a game of number, it's gonna change a lot for you. Because for me, back in the days, I had very, very big problems with risk management. I always risked too much. I've been blowing accounts over and over again until I finally understood how to play with those numbers. You gotta get a feeling for that, and you gotta test that out. And for everyone right now who believe, hey, Propfirm is the go, yes, it's a very nice opportunity. I also use still Propfirms. I multiple times funded. You can check out the link down below to see the Propfirms that I am affiliated with, or I believe there's a good chance that they're gonna be here for the long term, and where I am also getting my payouts on a regular basis. For me, it was a huge game changer to go into the Propfirm space. But also there, I really learned risk management the first time, right? And then I just used that knowledge to use it on my personal capital. And over there, it's actually just boosting my trading career absolutely, because I can withdraw my profits anytime, right? I can play with it every single time. I can decide what risk I want to take for that day. I can close every single time. And at the end, just limiting your losses. That's super important, right? Don't just risk 10K, for instance, for one setup in order to flip it. That is too high, right? At the end, as I just told you, I've risked only around 2 to 3K per setup. That was fine, right? Of course, it's a lot, but if you have a positive RR the entire time, like I have a 1 to 2 and a positive win rate, then you can even go with a 1 to 1, then of course you can use this risk management very effectively for yourself, right? And that's what I did, and this is why it worked out so good. So hope you can understand what I just told you. Of course, you need a good broker and everything to do this, and also you need to have a profitable edge. Otherwise, this thing can work, right? But it's a good start for you to get to know this and to learn how to use these things, and then that's how this entire thing works. Okay. With that being said, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Check out the link bio to join us, and see you next time. Bye bye.